There we go. Okay. I don't like being anymore. Okay, I have to get over that.
No.
Hola, peoples.
Hello.
So, tonight's show, okay, I'm just gonna lay it out there. Last week we threw down some cards to figure out like what we wanted to talk about because we wanted a tarot show and we wanted to express something important. And like if I know, like let's throw some cards down. And we did, and we came up with some really like on point, really great information. And today it went out the door. It's a challenge.
And it was totally Monday, by the way, not even last week.
Oh shit!
Which tells you how the last 3 days have gone for us.
Man, okay, yeah.
I'm sorry we blame everything on daylight savings time. Fuck it.
Seriously. Okay, so, but the message is our decks worked so well together. And the messages that came forth were we really need to talk about community, and that's why we have the show, the importance of community. And we're talking specifically about the tarot and the witchy community. And that's what tonight's show is going to be about. And if y'all have any questions, if you want to discuss anything and talk about community with us, please put your questions in the questions thingy, and we'll have a conversation because that's what this is about. So again, on not last week, it was Monday, which was only a few days ago. Shit, but yeah, it was expressed, and it's very important that we talk about community. We talk about the benefits and the uniqueness of our community. And I know a lot of people. This happened in the YouTube Pagans group, which I don't mind saying because there's nothing negative, but there was someone who did a video talking about how we need to be careful of what we say or something along those lines because we speak for the entire community, which is not true. In my view, yes, I'm gonna ramble tonight, y'all. I'm just gonna ramble. Yes, we are all a part of like a huge community. Whether you're a witch, whether you're a tarot reader, yes, we are a part of that big group, that whole, that community. But we also have our own smaller groups and the people that we communicate with and we hang out with and we spend time with. That's more so what we add to the group as a whole. So when we speak, we speak for ourselves,
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it's so weird that you brought that up. I just saw that thread today. Like, I'm so inactive in the YouTube Pagans group. I should change that. I know I should. I've been trying to be more out there the last few days. But I just saw that thread today, and it was very interesting. I could understand where she was coming from, because I know you and I both have talked about some videos, some of the I hate to say pagan community because to me, pagan and witch tarot readers are all different things, different communities. But, for a broader term, we talked about certain YouTube personalities in the pagan community. They were just like, I don't even understand what they're talking about. I don't understand, what's going on there, how they're relating this to this and what have you. So, yeah, people like that are kind of, I don't want to say troublesome. They're intriguing, to be very nice about it. They're intriguing. And it can irritate, or, you'd be like, I wish they wouldn't say that as saying that they're this kind of witch or this kind of pagan. But regardless, that's their opinion, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, and that's who they are, not necessarily who we are.
Well, and the thing that confuses me a little bit, and again, a lot of people just join, so if y'all have anything that you'd like to discuss as in alignment with community, feel free to utilize the questions section and ask and ask your questions and discuss with us, because that's what we're about. We want to have fun, and that's great. But the thing that confuses me is when, I guess because that's just how I perceive things and how it's taught. But when I watch a video or when I hear someone speak, I don't feel like they're ever speaking for the entirety. Like, I don't feel like they're ever speaking for the whole. I feel like they're speaking for themselves and maybe for a smaller group if they're part of a group. But even at that, they're speaking for themselves through their own filter. And so I don't really get angry at like an entire group of people because of one person, or I don't feel like one person's, either their bullshit or even one person's like, amazing nature speaks for the whole. And we know that just from personal experience from anyone, who has had that experience, who, let's say, as a witch, we have a lot of Christians who hate witches, but then you have that one friend who is a, amazing person and they love you and they're Christian as well. That one person is that person. They don't speak for the whole because there is another community out there that does not like you, which is fine. It's up to them. But you also have other people who do appreciate you and will love you and will like you for who you are. So, that's kind of where, that's what when we express things as our own individual selves. And yes, we speak on behalf of, Deviant Witchery as a whole, but we all add something different to it. And so we're also, just because we say something, we also need to be asking questions. So you find out more information that way. No, we're not offering tarot readings today. We're talking.
We usually don't ever, at least not for the show. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's that. Let's see. Okay, there's that.
Yeah, and it's true. People will. I mean, that's people. That's human nature to lump and stereotype and group. I mean, I'm not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing. It is just human nature. I mean, you will find it everywhere, and it can be very discouraging. I know especially whenever I really was new to being an out witch and an out tarot reader. Oh my God, it would get me fired up. It's like, don't lump me in with everyone else and don't act like you know where I'm coming from. And now it's just kind of old hat. I'm like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I really don't care. Because you have to be that way or you'll constantly be in this state of furious anger.
Right. Yeah. This show is going to be like all over the place. I already can.
It is, but that's okay. I kind of like it.
Yeah, there's so many things that are coursing through me right now. Community is funny. Like community is necessary, and it's important to be a part of something, even if you are on the outside and you have your own little thing. We're still part of like something even bigger. Because we're broadcasting and we're going to be on YouTube. So for the longest time, I was very apprehensive, and I still am pertaining to the YouTube community. Because there's so many different things that you hear about or so many different things that you experience that you get scared and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want people to hate me. I don't want people to perceive a certain thing about me, blah, blah, blah. But that's kind of the challenge with anything. The more that we do shows and the more that I experience other people who are on YouTube and who have taken the time to actually get to know me, and I've taken the time to get to know them. It's very fascinating that you see a different side of someone when you let go of your expectations. You let go of all the things that you've heard other people say. And even at that, you let go of some of the things that you believe yourself, some of the arguments you've had, some of the challenges that you've had with a certain person or whatever, a group of people. You let that go and you realize that we all have something to offer. we all have a voice, and we all have something to share. So yeah,
Cleone Dawson.
we all have something to share. We also have something to offer. So it's great to be able to set aside. And I think that's something that's really important when we come together. We have to set aside a lot of our differences. And we don't have to like each other. We don't have to agree 100% with each other. But we do have to understand that we might be a part of something bigger. And we're part of like a whole community. And that means something, whether you want it or not. That has meaning and that has power. And so the more that I'm rambling, I apologize, but the more that we invest into like the grander, the bigger picture, and the more that we invest into ourselves, and we do a little bit of healing, and we let go of certain things, and we become more aware of how we integrate with the people that we surround ourselves with, and as well the group that we create and how that interacts with others. Exactly. I don't have to like you to treat you well. No, exactly. I mean, that's true. Like, that's kind of, it's all about respect. And if you respect yourself, you can come to the realization that you can respect another. So I am totally rambling. I apologize.
But yeah, and that's the thing. I can read. Okay, so here lately, I've been really revamping as far as like getting rid of some of my older books that I have on, witchcraft and whatnot. And it's not that they're even bad books. They're not aligned with where I am right now, but that doesn't make them bad books or unuseful. Where I was at the time, they were extremely important. So that is something I think that is a lot of times missing from the pagan, witch, psychic, medium community.
Right.
And we need so many slashes to describe our community, because not every witch is a pagan, not every pagan is a witch, and not every tarot reader has anything to do with any of that. So, as well as medium. So, but we all are at different levels. And I read something, I think it was on that thread, in fact, that we were talking about earlier in the YouTube Pagan group, that we don't have a book to go by, unlike other organized religions. Okay, we don't have the set of guidelines. I mean, some people could say, well, Gerald Gardner, blah blah blah, but we don't have this generalized rule book for everyone. And that is what I love about this community.
Right.
We are able to learn from each other. We're able to see different perspectives. And even if we don't agree with those perspectives, it's interesting to me. It's a learning experience either way,
Right. And yeah.
Susie, yes, I completely agree. Community is not the same as cooperative. Exactly.
Yes, I love Miss Susie.
I do too.
Well, and I'm gonna stop apologizing for babbling and going all over the place, because this just
do it.
But if you think about it, as practitioners, as magical people, whether you're a witch, whether you're solely a tarot reader, anything, we have power. And if we take time to contemplate that, if we align ourselves in support of one another, within reason, there's some things you don't support, and that's fine. But if we align ourselves and we support each other and we uplift each other and we do our best to bring a sense of compassion and upliftment and just again, that support, that boosts power, that creates a whole different dynamic. And I think that's something that I strive for. That's something that I want to be known for, and I want to do my best to help. Obviously we all have our own challenges, and I have mine, and that happens. But it's more about seeing the bigger picture and seeing how to be a better individual, not just for yourself, but how you interact with those around you. And when you're magical, you not just have you don't just have your small community, your small group of people, but that group also influences other groups, and it creates an atmosphere, it creates this energetic expression, which again has power. And so we have to ask ourselves, what do we want to do with that power? What do we want for that power to represent? What do we want that expression to create? And so I don't know. That's something really that's been weighing on me a lot lately. How I communicate and how I can't help how people perceive what I say. I can't help how people choose to take what I say and utilize it on their own. But I can express myself and make sure that I express myself in alignment with what I seek to create, and I can share that with other people, and hopefully that they will take it and do the same thing, which again will create more energy and will create something that is in alignment with what we seek to bring to the whole. Oh my
Exactly. And I know for me, in my experience, when I first started in this down this path, it was not hard for me to be influenced, if that makes any sense. Like I would hear something, I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes total sense. Yes. And then the next day I'd hear something, oh yes, that makes total sense. And then it took me a while to figure out that, wait just a minute, you need to figure out what you believe and how you believe, and it's okay if you don't agree with the whole. And so you don't have to be so readily influenced by what everyone else says just because they have more experience than you do. You need to set off and figure this shit out for yourself.
Right.
And it's like Susie said again, which I'm not just calling out Susie because I know her. It's just she's really resonating with me right now. But even though we disagree, we gain a deeper understanding of our own self and path because we are through discussion exploring. Yes, exactly. It's okay to grab a hold of an idea and see how you feel about that idea.
Oh. Okay.
And
sorry.
It doesn't mean you have to eventually agree with it. You can still disagree. Oh yes. And it's a lot like I've seen this meme sort of floating around on Facebook, and I can't remember now who said it, but it's like, it's okay for me to change my mind based on new information. And you really have to grab a hold of that and understand that you can change your mind, but you don't have to.
Right. And what you were saying also, this, I've been reading this book, and this is Lori Cabot's Book of Shadows. There is a whole shitload in this book that I do not agree with at all, but I understand that this is her beliefs, but there are small gems in here for me so far that I don't care like how she expresses herself and whatnot. What she has offered me in this book on how, what we say and how we interact with other people, how we need to neutralize certain things. And one of the things that comes up a lot is, I don't want to be a part of a community. You're not my community. I don't, I'm independent. I'm by myself. I may be a tarot reader, but I have nothing to do with the tarot community. I may be a witch, but I have nothing to do with the witch community, which is not true. Which is not true, because no matter who you are, you're still part of a community because you are something. We are all part of many different communities, and that's fine. So instead of saying I'm not a part of something, why don't we take that power and say, I am a part of something, and this is what I contribute. This is what I can offer. This is what I'm going to do to change my negative perception of something, And the show is obviously called The Importance of Community. And it's just so important to be surrounded by people who, you know, uplift you and allow you to change, and who will help you to grow, not by, you know, believing and saying everything that you do and say is okay, but by challenging you and by being there when you know, you fall, or by being there when things get rough. This is about growing.
Yes, and that's why online community to me is so important, because if you're where I'm at, which is like in the Bible Belt in the South, it is a challenge to find other people like you. Most of them are hiding because we live in a right to work state. So if your employer finds out that you are, you know, a Southern Baptist, they can fire you for that and not tell you that's the reason why they're firing you, because they don't have to tell you anything. So that is, you know, a lot of people are in hiding, and for understandable reasons. You know, we all need money to survive. So, you know, the online community is so amazing because you can reach out across countries and talk to people and share ideas, and it's a growing and learning process, and it's really amazing opportunity for us.
Yeah.
As witches, tarot readers, and pagans today.
Right. Juliet says, following the bouncing red ball, it's all good. Yeah, I am like, the red ball's all over the damn place. There you go. But let's pick some cards. Let's throw some cards down. Let's shuffle this deck and focus on the importance of community. And again, and if you really consider it, like, let's take a look at circles and covens. That you have a group of individuals who come together and they cast and they grow. That coven energy grows, and that really is the very similar. It's not the same, of course, it's not the same. But if you take that understanding, as I shuffle the cards, if you take that understanding and apply it to a bigger outlet, and you take that information and put that filter on the group, community as a whole, it puts things into perspective, and it reminds you that you may just be an individual, but your energy and you have influence. And again, I'm repeating myself a lot tonight, I think, but how do you wish to influence the whole? What do you want you to represent, and how do you want to be remembered? What is your legacy?
Right. Well, so what deck are you using tonight, my dear?
I'll have many decks right now, but I think at this moment I'm going to use Tarot of Sexual Magic.
Ooh, I'm using this tarot because my French is horrible, so I'm not going to say
it. Miss Susie expresses, through diversity we grow. We are encouraged to be more, to do more than we currently are, and that's absolutely, again, though, is very important with a group of individuals, because when you are a part of a group, it's all, the expression is, when you're part of a group, you're only as strong as your weakest link, and that's very interesting. So, because that makes everyone want to support, like, the weaker link. They want to help the weakest link grow, and that's kind of like teamwork and effort and all that, because you want to make sure, if you want to grow, you have to make sure those, this sounds so horrible, but those who are not up to your level grow as well, because when they hit your level, you are also able to go further. So that's something that's very interesting, and I think you see that a lot in groups and different things, where, you know, people do share a lot of information, or they don't share a lot of information, and you don't see people growing. You don't see that hands-on interaction, or even like this, you don't see that interaction going on. So people are not sure what to do with the magical information. They don't know how to apply that.
Right. What are we focusing on for our card draw?
I don't know. What should we focus on?
I've just been focusing on community right now.
Okay. Focus on. Yeah. Okay.
on community. Just see what comes up.
Yes, let's see how we're gonna. And if y'all want us to focus on something in accordance with the topic, the importance of community, anything specific, then feel free. We'll do that, but it has to be what we're talking about.
Right, it has to be related.
So yes, let's do that. Super awesome. And let's see. Dogma is not in the lesson, but in the student's willingness to accept the lesson as an absolute truth.
That is so true.
Juliet. That was from Juliet. Okay. Got that. Do you have a card?
I do.
Okay, I don't have a card yet, but what's your card?
It's an interesting one. I don't know what my deal is with wands today. That's all I seem to be able to draw. But 7 of Wands, which, I mean, it is a good card, especially when you think of community. But it's another wand. So earlier today, for my own personal self, it seemed like there was a lot of fire energies involved. Maybe someone's trying to tell me something.
Oh, my.
But, okay, so in this deck, which this is a new deck to me.
Hey, that's Solaria. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Nothing, good.
Oh, okay, sorry, gotcha. Anyway, this is a new deck to me. I really enjoy this deck. I like Pauline Cassidy. I had to look at the box again. I can't ever remember this lady's name because she seems to really connect to the people in her deck. Her characters actually, she names her characters in the little booklet interpretation, which I find incredibly cute and really awesome. So, but yeah, okay. So the 7 of Wands is my card. What is your card? What is it?
It's the moon.
Of course it is.
The moon card. Oh my. Can you see what's going on up in here? We got some craziness going. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting card. Sexual Magic is a very interesting deck for you to pick for this.
Well, because, yeah.
But anyway, with the 7 of Wands, I like this card because to me, it does have a lot to do with our community specifically. He's just doing his own thing, regardless of all these people down here looking at him kind of like, in fact, they almost look like they have the pitchforks out. But, he's just doing his own thing regardless, and he's happy. He's happy of that. And he doesn't even hold any animosity. Yeah. That's some interesting stuff going on there. He doesn't even seem to hold any animosity. He's all smiley and happy and, oh, yeah, I'm doing my own thing. And I don't even care that y'all don't like it. It's okay. Oh, and 7 of Wands was the card that got selected first. But, yeah, it is... it does to me speak to our community. It is okay to do your own thing. You don't need the approval of everyone. Just know why you're doing it. I mean, he knows why he is the way he is, and he's happy with that decision. And it's, that's the way we should be. Right. Be willing to learn, but also be happy with who you are.
Right. The interesting thing about the 7 of Wands is, well, as, we teach, like, the 7 represents, like, faded expression.
Uh-huh.
It also represents troubles, but it also has the beauty to create understanding. We also see, like, wisdom come from the 7. And all of that expresses community very well, because when you have a large group of people, shit, if you have two people, it doesn't matter. You tend to eventually resonate with each other, and then you tend to like flag up the shit you don't like in yourself with other people, and then personalities clash. You have fights, you have you have arguments, you have disruptive energy, and that is going to happen no matter what, because a community in essence is a large family of sorts, like a dysfunctional, fucked up family, whatever. But that's what the seven represents, because it's fated. It's going to happen. But
Exactly.
we also have the opportunity to choose whether we take the time to understand and grow. And like that card expresses, with fire is passion and growth and movement. We don't when it comes to community and comes to the beliefs of others, we need to realize like we don't hold on to that shit that fast. Like we let it go and we got to move on, because everyone has their place that they express themselves from, and that's what their story is based on at the current moment. So we have to learn not to take things so personally, which again, I'm listening to myself too, because I know I have to work through that as well. So that's Seven of Wands is interesting.
It is. I find your card a lot more interesting.
Well,
Michael's got the X-rated cards out.
I did. Well, there you go. Okay, so I did that because for some reason, well, it's witchy and tarot and whatever, but you see the moon, and being naked is just a part of life. But more so, it reminded me of like the Great Right and just community, and tying things together, and energies that are like tied together, and kind of that's what happens when you have the moon. And interesting enough, like the moon is a very powerful card, and a lot of times it represents some kind of negative shit. But in this deck, it's not negative at all. In this deck, it actually expresses the release of deception. It expresses the coming home, and the working on bringing healing towards your family unit, towards your home, and what your personal life. And that kind of, there's a lot of emotion going on. There's a lot of these, when I look at them, they're like, cheers. One has the mirror, glamoury, and charging at home and charging that energy, and one has the cup, like raising her cup to the moon, like, I got this shit, like I'm getting what I want. And everyone gets what they want in this card. And that's right. And to place that in the importance of community, the moon in this card expresses that we all have our part to play, and we all have a specific expression and a specific energy that we create and we add to the whole. And we have the ability to have fun and express it and become a part of it, or we can like withdraw, we can let go and not be a part of it. But if we're not a part of it, if we decide to step out but still practice or still be who we are, it becomes more challenging, and that's when like trouble and depression and other things set in, because you, no matter what, are a part of something. If you deny yourself that flow, it hurts. So this card is about understanding our place in our own world and how that interacts with the whole. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Well, it does to me. But yeah, it does. Yes.
Yeah. Y'all are chatty Cathy's up in here. Shoot. But
yes, I mean, that's right. It's like Susie's saying, the moon is it is a whole, it is completion, it is the community as one, and as much as it may seem kind of crazy at times, the moon does bring that out in people, because we do have all these opinions, and sometimes it may feels like we're all just sort of, talking to ourselves in a crowded room. You know, but things do get through. Things do get through. People do communicate, and we can, you know, connect with one another, play off one another, give and take with one another, which to me is expressed in that card very well.
Very well.
You know,
and
yeah,
the moon also is a celebration. The moon expresses like coming together and as a whole and celebrating and setting the I hate to use this word because I'm kind of irritated with it right now, but setting the intent for what's to come and creating that atmosphere and that building the momentum and letting that like just, that's what we do during the moon, like the moon card. It has that power. So yeah, it's very interesting that it comes now with the 7 to express community.
yeah.
Okay, we need to peace out, dude. The spirit of the burger is calling me. Enjoy your hamburger.
Right.
Funny. Okay, so yeah, and we know like when, and again, y'all, if you want to suggest something you want us to focus our cards on in alignment with community, feel free to suggest it and we'll do that. But you and I know well how, like, you know, group workings go and how covens work and how it is definitely give and take, and it is definitely learning how to work with other personalities and feeling those energies, and at the end of the day, it's like supporting each other even if you have a disagreement, and learning how to work through that. And at times that means you have to take time apart and you have to like let go and let that shit settle and then come back together, you know. And there's no shame in that. There's nothing negative in that. It's just that's just life.
Right.
So, and that's kind of the whole thing about, I think we need to express with community is that we can all fight, we can all argue, we can all have our, you know, our spats, just fine. That's just life. But at the end of the day, I would hope that we all want the same thing, in the sense of we want our community to thrive. Whatever community that, you know, you're part of, Wiccan, traditional witchcraft, traditional Wicca, you know, pagan, tarot, anything. You want your community to thrive. You want people to be educated. You want people to be well practiced. You want people to represent the practice efficiently and from passion, from fire. And so I think that we could all agree that that's what we would love to see happen for whatever our community as a whole, to become more, to become stronger, to become you know, passionate, and to become expressive, whatever, you know, in whatever way that we can.
Yes.
All right, then.
I completely agree. And you know, like Michael said, we've had experiences with groups, covens, and to me, one of the biggest problems that arises in covens, and you know, you have a lot. I know in my experience, I've met a lot of solitary witches who have had really bad coven experiences, and don't let that put you off from community, because one of the things about close-knit groups is when you have some people that are very comfortable with where they are, and then you have other people that are ready to experience more, groups tend to kind of fall apart. And that's what happened really for the most part with mine and Michael's coven. Was, you know, there was a group of us that were ready to grow and move on and, you know, proceed forward, and other people just kind of were really comfortable with where they're at. And there's nothing wrong with that you know, that is where they were.
Right.
But when you're in a group like that, especially a smaller group like that, it is a challenge to keep it together when you have a certain part that's ready to go forward and another part that's happy where they are, you know. And so you can either, you know, be like, okay, well, we're going to move forward and y'all can kind of stay where you're at and that's fine, or things kind of just fall apart. You know.
Yeah, and that plays into like this, you know, the witchy and tarot as a whole community, because when that happens, like when you're smaller groups, then they have the those who are wanting to grow. Not saying that the others don't want to grow, but they're not in a space for themselves right now that they want to grow as fast, or they're not able to. And I'm trying to express it in a way that doesn't sound negative, because it's not a negative thing or
It's
incorrect.
really not.
Not an incorrect thing. But they have the beauty of other groups that will align with what they are currently at, and that will take them in, and that will help them, and they will be able to grow with. And then, you know, you move on, you move forward, and you keep doing that until we grow. We all grow. And I don't know. It's all about growth. And I'm shuffling this deck again. I don't know what we're going to.
Are you thinking about growth? That's what I'm thinking about. It seems to be the key word right now.
Miss Juliet. I like that name. I don't know why. I just love it. Miss Juliet. I believe that is the nature of communities, which makes the moon card even more appropriate. We ebb and flow as is needed for each person, sometimes coming back together at a later date, which is
yes.
Yes.
That is so true.
And the whole moon card, some people are batshit crazy, and that's cool too, because, you know, moon is all about lunacy.
Sometimes you need batshit crazy.
Because batshit crazy has a specific energy, and it makes people like oh, okay, all right. You know? And I don't know, it's fun. I really, and that's always my like passion, is being a part of a community and expressing a community that is inclusive, but also very specific in how they express themselves. And sometimes when you're very specific in how you express yourself, it's hard for people to understand, and sometimes it's not expressed in a way that meets other people's expectations or their ability to comprehend in a way that you mean, without taking offense.
Right.
Looks like my vocabulary today is working. You know, earlier today I couldn't even talk. Whew. But right now it's fine. I'm okay. I can talk. Yes, crazy makes the world go round. Hell yeah. And Miss Susie, as I shuffle, what does Miss Susie say?
Finding a dynamic that complements your energy is important when working with others, whether that is within a group, a coven, a community. Accepting that we aren't always going to be a match is a part of personal growth. Yes, it is.
Say out loud and say it proud.
My challenges sometimes, you know, I really try to focus on not expecting anything, because we get in this, or at least I get in this big habit of comparing myself to others and expecting people to be like myself, because that's what I'm most familiar with, you know. And I'm like, I need to quit doing that, because that's not fair to anybody else.
She's really good at that, though. She's like, sometimes you just want to throw something at her, because, like, you know, you have to take a step back, and, you know, blah, 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 and blah. I'm like, shut up. Go ground yourself. Go spend some time with Mother Earth. And I think one of the reasons that I feel community is a very important topic lately is because I've been working with Gaia, like, a lot. And thank you, Miss Nadia Romanov of Lady James B. Witchery, for the statue of Gaia that you blessed me with, and I appreciate that. And thank you so much. So I have her. She's staring at me. It's kind of freaking me out. But I think that is that. I know that is why community has been so important to me lately. My rambling. All right. Okay, I think this is ready. So, okay, y'all. Since we have some people, do we choose 1, 2, or 3? I want to know what you feel. 1, 2, or 3, and I will choose. Got that. The first person to reply. Yes. Okay. All right, now y'all just like take your time. You're like throwing down words, and now when I ask you a question, you're like, what? Okay, here you are. 3.
Okay, so 3. I'm gonna pick for my third deck as well.
All right, then. We got 3.
Oh, that's funny, but good and interesting. You go first. I went first last time.
This is funny. The stars.
You know, it's so interesting that you pull that. Go ahead.
The stars. That's funny. What's the first thing? Okay, when I see the stars, the first thing that popped into my head was Game of Thrones with Khal Drogo and the thing he said to the phrase that he would say to his what's her name, the blonde girl, the mother of dragons or whatever.
Khaleesi.
Yes, I can't remember what she. Fuck. Anyways, that's the first thing that popped into my head. When seeing the stars, and the stars is very interesting. Again, put that back in the back. So here again on growth, we have to realize that how do I express that? It really is all about the present moment. It's about being in the fucking flow. Y'all, that shit keeps going around. Go with the fucking
Yeah, I told you.
The stars here right now is expressing, embracing the moment, putting yourself in the energy and going with the flow, because eventually, yes, you're my moon and stars. I love it. And which is funny because we just had the moon card and now we have the stars.
Very astrology related.
The stars card right now is about stepping into your current strength. I need to cut my goddamn nails. Shit. Stepping into what you're currently strong at and what you have a voice for, and allowing that to flow through you and becoming a part of it, because eventually stars fade and they die out and they boom 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 and blah blah blah. So you have to realize that time is very interesting, and you can't wait for tomorrow to be better at something. You can't wait for tomorrow to be more well-rounded so you can speak and integrate with the community. What you really need to do right now is to take a look at where you currently are and express yourself and share and grow and communicate with other people. Don't fear that you don't know anything or you don't know enough to have a conversation with someone. What you really need to do is to step into your full power and to step into your full knowledge, and wherever you are at with that, just allow it to flow through you and start talking with people, start integrating and communicating with others, so you give of yourself and you allow that psychic energy to communicate, and you have that exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. I was reading too. No, that's perfect, and I like that, and it's so true. What is the night sky without stars? And there's billions of them, and even one less would be sad. It would be not as brilliant, not as beautiful. So, to me, the stars perfectly represent community. We use them for everything. Maybe not as much now, but we used to. That was the way we travel at night. That was how we predicted the future. That was how we understood where we were in the world. That is how we discovered where we were, and the fact that we weren't just some random planet floating out, but we were a part of a system. We were a part of a solar system. And that to me is a perfect representation of community. We are a part of something bigger than us, something more. And yeah, I love that card. That's beautiful.
Before you express your card, I want to read It Flows.
Yes,
well. Susie says, Crowley's quote comes to mind: every man and every woman is a star. We are stardust. We are, that's important to really meditate on, how that links us together and how that represents us as a whole. It's beautiful. And then Miss Juliet, she expanded on the whole Game of Thrones thing. You are the moon of my life, and if this is a dream, I will kill the man who tries to wake me. And that's kind of the first thing that popped into my head when I saw this card. And it's really about flow. It's about, again, how to grow is by becoming and embodying the current moment and knowing that we are all so aligned. We are linked. Even the person that you hate the most, like, we're, especially in the community, we are all a part of something, and we're interconnected. So embrace that and speak. Okay.
And my card is rather interesting. At first, I was kind of like, whatever, this doesn't have to do with gross, but I've changed my mind. It is the Emperor. And whenever I look at the Emperor, I sometimes think of a douchebag. The Emperor can kind of be really, stringent in his ideas, in his beliefs. But he also represents order and structure, and he is a very confident person. And to grow, you do need that confidence. You need to know that, hey, I know this. This is true to me as who I am, as what I am becoming. This is the truth. And it doesn't hurt to have that kind of structure in your life. When you don't, like I expressed earlier in the show, you sort of wander from idea to idea, from belief to belief, when you aren't sure of what you believe, and you can't back your shit up. Michael and I are always telling our students to back their shit up, to know what they see, to know what they understand. And that is really important as a member of a community, to know how you feel about something, because you can't really express who you are or how you truly believe if you don't understand it yourself. And if you don't understand how you believe, you can't really grow. You can't grow as a person if you're not really sure where you're at. In order to grow, you have to know where you're rooted.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right. Yes. That's awesome.
It's an interesting card.
And before I comment on that, not to take it back to the stars card, but what the hell? Now I can't say Juliet because now Solaria. Hello. Shit. You're confusing me. Okay, so so she expresses, like, what is even more is that when that line is said, what we expressed about the moon stars, Daenerys is looking for her dragons, and it is a dream world where that is said. Khal Drogo and her son are dead, and she can either stay there or move on. She chooses to move on, and the decision is painful, but she grows as a woman and as a leader. And that is so important. That even though it's a show, that message is super important in regards to the cards that were pulled as well, even the Emperor card, as well as the message of community and as the message of us as a whole.
Right.
The Emperor, which I like that. Um, I really like that.
I do too. I like this interpretation of the Emperor. This is very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, I like it. And he doesn't seem so douchey in that.
No, he really doesn't. Not in this one. He's saying, of course, and most emperors are depicted as very old, usually.
Right.
And while this person has age to them, a kind of wisdom to them, they don't appear, old, older.
Yeah.
And not that there's anything wrong with being older, but a lot of times you have older energy, you have energy that doesn't really want to change, it's not very flexible, which in a way does describe the emperor. He's, like I said, he's very structured, he's very sure of himself, but at the same time, a good leader is open to change.
These
Is
girls
open
are awesome. Not to these girls are freaking awesome. So Susie says the emperor, like every community needs and has a backbone to exist. And
exactly.
what the hell? She keeps like going from one. And Miss Two Names has she becomes like the emperor, making the logical decision over the heart's decision, which is true. And the emperor is perfect for growth because when we're chaotic and we have the moon and we have the seven of wands, there's the emperor right there. We have those two cards, and that expresses the importance of community. In order to grow, we have to stand in our ways. We have to be organized. We have to be calculated, and sometimes we have to take all that crazy information and we have to like fine tune it and become the priests and priestesses, and we have to become masters of our art. And so that the emperor is the emperor is a great ending card to this, because it shows like the end result where after all this growth, through this growth, we never stop growing, but through all this, we become masters of ourselves, and we are able to, guide and direct others, guide others through the moon and stars, to find their own passions, as the Seven of Wands expresses. We become beacons of light and beacons of energy to help others and to help the next generation grow. And so that, I think, beautiful for the emperor to come forth and express that, because he definitely offers very organized and very fine-tuned rulership.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And yes, you're right, Solaria. He does seem more humble in this deck. I do enjoy that. This lovely deck was gifted to me by the amazing Hunter Nimbus River, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Thank you so much, Hunter. It has been an awesome deck so far.
Yes, Mr. Hunter, who is the Southern Charmer, which you should definitely check out his his Facebook page already. But yeah, absolutely. Susie expresses a community is like a complete tarot deck, sometimes in shuffle, but always linked.
Yes, so true.
Yeah. It's fun, and y'all, like, there's nothing to. A community is beautiful, even in its most challenging expressions. Even with infighting, even with all kinds of things. Like, that's just life, and we grow from it. We learn from it. We heal from it. We get hurt. We get offended. We take time. We take a time out to grow and to face things, and we choose to either apologize. We choose to take responsibility for our part in things. And then we move on, and we hope that is transferred, that those who we interact with and those who we influence or we have influenced will do the same, and help each other to grow, even if it's not in the same in the same area. We still hope for growth for the entirety, because we are all linked and we want our communities to thrive.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I mean, that is the point of community. Is that we inspire each other, we share with each other, we are a community. We are, like Susie just said, we are linked in ways, regardless of whether you want to be or not. It's not necessary to always be the hermit in the tarot deck. Sometimes that energy is needed, but it's not something that's always needed. And honestly, for me, the only way in my experience that I have truly felt like I've grown is by connecting with others. I can read all the books I want all day long, and I can even go out and experience things on my own. But if you don't know what you're experiencing, if you don't have a good enough grasp, because everyone will tell you,
Right.
you need others to help you out with that. And yeah, even a deck expresses conflicts. That is so true.
So before we close, do you want to choose one more card and focus on how do we, as a whole, like all of us, what can we do now to be of service to our community for growth?
Sure.
What can we do now to be of service to our community that will influence? Yeah.
Sounds good.
And then we shall be like, sayonara. No.
I love it when we pick random cards. So much fun.
It's super fun. It's always inspirational and very enlightening, and puts you on the spot. You're like, oh shit, how do I tie this in? Let's see what kind of skills I have.
Now the cards have been pretty easy, though, honestly.
Oh, shut up. Don't even. This is, we're not doing it. But you're going to curse us. You're going to, jinx us.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll stop.
Okay, y'all. 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3? 1, 2, or 3.
And a couple people expressed. The first two, we'll go with that.
Going once. Going twice. Yeah. 1, 2, or 3?
Amy says 2.
I got 2. Oh shit.
One more. Come on, guys. Someone else. I mean, we could both go as 2.
You know what? We'll answer that question, Solaria. I think we'll do a blog post or a separate show for that. Just because we're running out of time.
So much.
That's gonna require a lot of.
Okay, I'm just gonna draw from 2 as well.
Okay, we'll do 2. 2. Okay. How do we bring?
You're writing that down, yes?
Yeah. I never write it down, but I'm writing that down. Okay, so 2. Oh my, this is funny. I don't even know how I'm gonna pull this.
Oh, I could go first if you want. I could go first.
You should go first. Yeah.
The Knight of Swords.
What?
Which isn't too bad. That's not too bad. A great way to be of service, especially whenever you think of the Knight of Swords, is really by charging ahead, sort of leading by example. The Knight can be kind of careless with his sword. He kind of cuts things away, and sometimes in a community setting, you need to be the one to be like, okay, guys, no, let's just stop. Let's take a break. Let's not. Because now we're not even on point. The Knight of Swords has a very good the ability to. I can't talk now. I guess I can't talk. to keep things on point, to keep things in that logical zone, that intellectual zone, especially when things get heated, like they are wont to do anytime when people are debating things that they feel strongly about. So it is very much a great thing to be able to pull yourself away from a discussion and be like, okay, either we need to take a break or let's think about this more logically, or, whatever you need to do in order to get people to sort of realign in a more pleasant way. So it's not a bad thing.
No. That goes so well with the card that I'll just... Shit.
Of course.
The Three of Swords. The Three of Swords, right? You got that? You got the Three of Swords right up in here. How am I supposed to use this to be of service? We have the Three of Swords going once, going anyone? Okay, well, let me just tell you how the Three of Swords can actually, it's really easy. So the Three of Swords is expressed in a sense where knowing our place, knowing when to be aware of inconsistencies, be aware of incompatibilities, be aware of arguments and disagreements. And when you know you don't want to be a part of something, when you know you don't belong somewhere because you don't want to be there, this card is saying you do not have to be. This is a card where it's saying, okay, maybe you have outgrown the class that you're taking. Maybe you have outgrown the group that you're in. Maybe you have outgrown something. So instead of feeling like you owe it to the people invested in you, or you're invested in them, instead of feeling like you have to stay where you are, you're hurting yourself. What you need to do is be aware of that pain, of that hurt, of that challenge, and make a decision that is in alignment with that. You need to realize that just because you were currently invested with something and it's no longer, what you want anymore, or what you need, it's okay to step away. It's okay to let go. And so that's kind of what this card is. And I'll read you what the book says. I don't really read the book, but this book I really like too as well. And so the description of this card is, not that one. The magic of fire and salt. You must call attention to disagreements and incompatibilities before finding the courage to end a relationship that is now empty. And so you can see that obviously people know what's going on. People understand. So you have to be ready to let go. It's not a negative thing. Letting go is not a bad thing at all. What it is a very powerful thing. And it's okay. Again, it's so okay. Letting go is not something that is going to distance you from a group or from a situation or from, an investment, a workshop, a class, whatever. It's not going to take away from you. What it does is free your energy up so that you can become more. Mm-hmm. So in order to be of service, what can we do right now to be of service to our community? We need to stop lying to ourselves. We need to be okay with where we are, and we need to make choices and decisions based on how we feel and not how we think other people feel or how other people may or may not react to us. Right?
Right.
So let's see. Miss Susie says, rescue by cutting through misinformation, being brave enough to speak even controversially. I like that. And I speak all the time. And Solaria is like, swords and wands and celestial beings all around tonight, which is super true. And it is really true, because right now I'm channeling all kinds of things and it's getting fucking hot in this room. Oh, it's killing me. I'm not even joking. Letting go of that which does not serve us. Yes, and we have to. Yeah. It's okay. I don't know why I have to keep repeating myself, but what needs to be expressed is like, it's fine. It's okay to own up to where you are and to however you choose to be, and knowing again that something's not healthy for you, something's not beneficial to you. So you have to take from the experience and be blessed because of it, but also let go of what is not producing growth, but is maybe holding you back. You don't know. Just be, what we have to do to be of service right now is to be aware of how we interact and what we are wasting away on.
Right.
Whew. Alrighty. Okay. All right. Okay, so y'all, is there anything else you'd like to say, Miss Melissa?
No, just thank you to everyone for being so chatty and active. I just love it. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Solaria, Juliet, combo. Thank you, Amy. No, seriously, guys, really appreciate it. And that's all. I'm just really glad that we had so many viewers. And the guy that left to enjoy the burger, I already forgot his name. I'm so sorry, but thank you to you as well. And yeah, I really appreciate the fact that y'all watch and you participate, and it really makes the show so much more fun.
It does. It is. And even more fun, you can do a video response, and it doesn't have to be long, but just, talk to us and share what you feel community is, what you feel the importance of community is. And if you want to take the tarot, do what we do, shuffle your deck, focus on it, and shuffle and express a card that is on the importance of community. Shuffle the deck and express a card that is on the growth, and then shuffle the deck and focus on how to be of service right now. And then use those and express it. And if you don't want to do a video and you want to do a blog post, do that and share with us. I want to hear what you have to say. And if you don't want to do any of those and you just want to do a comment, do a response to the YouTube video and comment there.
Yeah, definitely. We want to hear from you.
Yes, because we're needy. Yeah, so don't forget, this Saturday we also have a Deviant Witch show and a Deviant Witchery show, which we'll have more information on that later. Like always. But yeah, until next time, y'all. Peace.
Bye.